Good morning and welcome to Mike's Missions on Safari. What a beautiful blue sky we have today. The only problem is we're not in the Serengeti, we're in Sheffield. My car thermometer tells me we have 1 degree right now. So up here in Yorkshire, that's a sign to put on a light jacket. Hello mate. I promise you, we are in Yorkshire. So now we're all wrapped up, what we're doing here in Graves Park in Sheffield. Well, we're actually going to be looking for some of the park's most famous residents. Living quite happily in the park here for several years now has been a colony of ring-necked parakeets. Now they're normally found in Africa or India. They've been joined in recent times by their big cousin, the Alexandrine parakeet. There, look, that's what we're looking for today. And that's what our safari is all about. Lots of bird life just here. These chaps aren't what we're looking for today. You can see how cold it is. Look at the ice on the grass here. Now this fabulous expanse of land here was given to Sheffielders by businessman and philanthropist J.G. Graves 100 years ago, and it covers 250 acres. So how on earth are we going to find some little parrots? Well, actually I've just spoken to 3 ladies and they spotted them about half an hour ago in the woods. So that's where we're heading. Now, although it's November and freezing cold, strangely there's a smell of fresh cut grass that you only usually get in spring and summer. We're starting to check every single tree now, see if we can see any flashes of green up there. It's helping that most of the leaves have fallen off already. I'm told though that before you actually see these parakeets, you actually hear them because they're quite loud. No parakeets up here. Yeah, my parents and grandparents used to bring me in Graves Park virtually every week when I was a little nipper. And just over there, the other side of this ravine, you might be able to see the famous Wishing Well Bridge. Now worryingly, I've just been told I might have the wrong part of the park altogether. Here we are.
Yeah.
I can see one. Hello. I've got company as well, look. Hello. You come to look for the parrots as well.
Come on. Wish I put my glasses on. I like the bird.
Can you see the parrot?
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is it?
Just there.
Oh yeah. Wow. I grew up having budgies. I absolutely love birds. Yeah, he's just flown around the back.
Fabulous.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Well, when I was little, growing up at Woodseats, we had a budgie and it escaped. It flew away out of the kitchen window, I think. And I remember being brought to Graves Park and we were shouting for Billy the budgie to see if we could find it. So coming back all these years, oh, there he goes flying, look. Coming back all these years later looking for parrots is very strange.
Oh.
Now, I'm told other birds in Graves Park are quite happy to have parakeets living amongst them. And I must say, in the 5 minutes I've been stood here looking at the parakeets, I've seen a jackdaw, goldfinch, some robins, magpies, and several long-tailed tits. I think the only creatures not too happy with the parakeets are squirrels, because they compete for the same nesting sites in trees. So here are Mike's missions. We've gone right to the top with this mission today, looking for parakeets, and we've come to see Professor Ian Rotherham, who's a local environmentalist and wildlife expert, and here we are in the park. So when did the parakeets first arrive here?
Probably, we think maybe about 5 years ago. They've been spreading across the region. I've been getting records through my work with the media, what we call citizen science, asking people to send the records in. And obviously, you know, with local magazines like Activate and with local newspapers, people read those. Yeah. And the parakeet is a bird that they recognise, so they send, you know, they make a note to send the records in. So the first records were very, very few and far between, but the 1980s, 1990s, and then in the last 20 years they've increased dramatically. But it looks like Graves Park is one of these centres.
Yeah. What makes the park so attractive to a ringneck parakeet then?
In part, it's the big old beech trees. Yeah. They love the big old beech trees, because if you look at those, they often have shed branches. Yeah. And where they shed branches, you get a little bit of a rock pocket, and you get a hollowing out. And some of the photographs that we've used in the magazine have been parakeets coming out of their nesting holes and their roosting holes. So it's having all those big trees in proximity, I think, is the key to the parakeets favouring the area.
How many do you estimate there might be in the park at the moment then, these days?
Well, we've had flocks. So what happens is during the afternoon, particularly in the winter, the parakeets come together, and we've just seen 3, 4, 5 come into the trees here. They seem to come in round the ponds, and then they head off towards Sheffield Centre. They actually fly off, and we've had flocks of up to 50.
Wow.
Now that doesn't necessarily, you know, that's not necessarily 25 breeding birds. We can hear parakeets now. They're coming in. Yeah. So we've probably got, I would guess, somewhere between 15 and 20 pairs breeding. Yeah. And we've also got probably 1, 2, maybe more of the ultra rare Alexandrine parakeet. Right. And one of the first ever records anywhere was in my back garden in Nunn, which is really rather good. Yeah. And we now get them here. I've seen them around the ponds as we are today. They come in and they roost and they forage with the ringnecks.
They're much larger, aren't they?
They're bigger. They've got a red patch on the shoulder like that, and a huge red beak. I mean, they really are quite big. Long tails. The ringnecks and they seem to get along okay, but the Alexandrines are big and they are very, very loud. Yeah.
Oh, right. So you found them in your garden. Yeah. Presumably other people find them in their gardens as well.
Yeah, one of the things I've recommended when people are feeding the birds, parakeets will come to peanuts, as will other birds coming to winter feeders, but also I spike apples
Yeah.
windfalls and stuff like that onto either the bird feeders or onto shrubs that are pruned with a little spike, put the apples on, and that will, in winter, once the autumn apples are gone, that will bring parakeets in as well. Not everybody wants them because of the noise. I think they're gorgeous. But the apples are great for blue tits, blackbirds, and for parakeets. They love them.
Superb. Well, thanks very much for explaining
good to
all
see
this.
you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ian. Well, in this corner of Graves Park, I've seen 4 or 5 parakeets, but I've heard many more. So how did all those ring-necked parakeets and Alexandrine parakeets make their way here from Kenya and India? Well, of course they didn't. Chances are they escaped or were released. And of course there are plenty of urban myths about these ring-necked parakeets. Some people say they escaped from Ealing Studios during the filming of The African Queen in 1951. Others say a pair of parakeets were released by Jimi Hendrix in Carnaby Street, London in the 60s. And parakeets apparently escaped from damaged aviaries during the Great Storm of 1987. And back on the musical theme, a number of parakeets were reportedly escapees from Mick Jagger's aviary, and George Michael once released a pair from an aviary at a house he'd just bought. So believe what you like, but ring-necked parakeets are here in Sheffield and have been for several years now. There's plenty of other bird life here in the park too. Just a reminder of how cold it is here today. When I was a child, this was the boating lake. The boats have long since gone, but good to see that the ducks are still here. It's been mission accomplished here in Graves Park today. I think I've spotted between 8 and 10 ring-necked parakeets. Fabulous birds they were too. And also heard many more flying over the treetops. You can certainly tell when they're up in the air there, they make quite a din calling to each other. Goodbye you two. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. It's bin day at the church. If there's one thing we've learnt about today's mission here in South Sheffield, is that in this part of the world, you're never too far away from a parakeet. In fact, there could be one right behind you at any moment.